Hey everyone, we are coming to the close of 2024, and we wanted to take a minute and just reflect back on our year, cast some vision for the coming year, and really just say thank you for all of your support.
Yes.
For the last couple of years, the Lord's really been speaking to Jonathan and I and our whole team about Sabbath and having rhythms of rest. And then he really started speaking even further than that about sabbatical. And in 2023, Jonathan and I and our kids were able to take our first ever sabbatical after being in full-time ministry for 25 years. And it was a life-changing experience for us to feel worthy of time with the Lord without the mission and the ministry and the nonprofit and all the things we love to do, but to just be with the Lord, to get still, to be able to hear his voice in a clearer way, for the waters of our life to just settle down and to open our heart was again just a life-changing experience for us and for our family. And we did all of that with the expectation that we would be able to implement that for our entire staff. And if you don't know, we have 36 staff. It's a very large staff. And we just coming into 2024, we're like, this is, Lord, we really want to do this. And we were able to, the whole month of June, we as a ministry paused, and we were able to send all of our staff on a month-long sabbatical. And I just want to say, just to give glory to the Lord and to so many of you who supported them and the ministry. It was extraordinary. God met them in the deepest ways, and he provided for them. And that was just one of the most beautiful highlights. God has spoken to us so deeply about making it for the long haul.
Yes.
And we want that. We want to be able to be in this thing, in mission, in ministry, serving all age groups and everything we get to put our hands to. Our deepest desire is that we would stay connected to each other, to the Lord. So it felt beautiful to just set that in motion and to see what God did. It was crazy. It was so wonderful.
Yeah. When we started in ministry 24 years ago, we joined my mom and dad here at A Place for the Heart, and we hosted a summer camp for high school students. And that high school camp feels like a mustard seed that we put down in the ground by faith. And our ultimate dream and vision for that camp was that we could help a high school student build a well of friendship with God that would help them make it through a school year and not have to come back to summer camp to get saved again.
Right.
For me as a high school student, I'd get saved at summer camp every year and say, God, I'm going to be the best Christian ever next year. But I had no tools to make it for that long haul of my freshman year, my sophomore year, my junior year. And from that first camp, it was how do we teach high school students to build a friendship with God that will sustain them through their next year of school. And that vision has played into everything that we've done. Now it comes into our schools. How do we give students the tools to cultivate a pressure system of friendship with God in here, that they can step into the pressure system of the world, like Daniel stepped back into Babylon, and he had more pressure in here than the pressure coming at him, so he could make it for the long haul. So he could become an old man still fascinated by who Jesus was. And we have learned that the beautiful discipline of Sabbath is a key that God gave us. It's actually a commandment that God gave us for us to make it for the long haul, for us to work from rest, not for rest, work from his pleasure, not for his pleasure. And so it was a radical step for us to take sabbatical in 2023.
Radical.
And then we're like, we want to implement this for our whole staff. And there are businesses now that are embracing this rhythm of Sabbath. One of the best chicken sandwiches you can get in the world is a business that you can't get that sandwich on Sunday, because they say we must stop and we must value our employees. We must value our team. And the level of quality at some of these places that are embracing the rhythms of Sabbath is outstanding. And so it was a radical thing to do this. It was a step of faith to pause for the entire month of June. And God has met us this year. And we really want to look in your eyes and say, thank you for believing in this dream. We could not do it without your support. And as we've been resting this year, we've also been putting our hands to other things. And we want to give you just some highlights of what God's done on the land this year, how we've got to partner with him this year. I've been thinking a lot about that quote. It says, without God, we can't. and without us, he won't. Without God, we couldn't have done any of the things. None of these things we could have done this year.
Yeah.
But without us, he wouldn't have moved ahead and done them. He wants partnership. And so we just want to share some of the ways we've been partnering with God this year and the things he's been doing on this land. One of the things that was a highlight for us is we hosted 3 alumni worship nights where we invited any of our alumni who've done the 18-inch journey from the last 17 years. They could come back on the land and have a night of worship with us, have a meal with us.
Yeah.
We could encourage them where they're at in their journeys. And they could bring their spouse with them if they've gotten married. And we had several hundred alumni come back on the land this year. Some of them are mothers and fathers now, husbands and wives now. And they got a night to worship on the land with us, and we got to encourage them on their journey. We hosted 3 of those this spring.
Yeah.
And then
it was wonderful. If I could just
incredible.
add, those nights were so special.
Yeah.
To be able to just sit with our alumni from 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, it was just like, to look in their eyes and to know they were coming back to the farm, to the land where they had so many God encounters was just so special. And we normally don't have time to do that. Yeah. So it was just such a gift to have them.
And we hit the record button for all those nights.
Yeah.
We turned our cameras on and we recorded all the music and filmed everything from those nights. So we've already released 2 worship moments.
Yeah,
My Soul Sings with Phyllis and Come Let Us Go with our band.
So fun.
And next year we're going to be releasing more worship moments from those nights. So you can be in the room with us and worship with the alumni.
Yeah, so fun.
A big highlight of this year was we released a documentary for a ministry called Hydrating Humanity that is digging wells in Africa to bring clean water and end the water crisis in Kenya and in Eastern Africa. And it's been a ministry that we've been partnering with. We've been taking 5 to 10% of the Cageless Birds sales for the last decade and sowing it into Hydrating Humanity. As a ministry, we've helped dig over 60 wells.
Wow.
We took a team of men there in 2023. And this year we put together a documentary just describing the beautiful work they're doing in Kenya.
Yeah.
We were able to premiere the documentary at a worship night in Winston-Salem at a Wake Church.
Yeah.
We had about 1,000 people show up, and we premiered the documentary, and there were a lot of teenagers in the room.
So many teenagers.
But our goal was to raise a lot of money for them that night. We raised $140,000. And if you would have seen how many teenagers were in the room, you would have never thought we could have raised that much. Raised $140,000, which could be up to like 15 wells.
Yeah.
And released this documentary that is spreading just the beautiful message of what Hydrating Humanity is doing. And our friend Graham Cook, who's been a spiritual father to us, he said, you never can outgive God.
Yeah,
it's a really fun game to try, but God will always win. And so us getting to serve another ministry, to take the things that we have cultivated authority in, from music to video, serve another ministry. We got to help another ministry raise $140,000. And then it was like, God's like, just watch what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks after that, we hosted our first ever, what do we call it? We call it our supporters dinner. And we sold tickets to raise money for this campus. We have so many dreams for this campus, and we were so nervous. We've never sold tickets. It was a beautiful dinner that we were going to host, a night of worship, and we were going to share the vision of the land. And we sold out the Friday night tickets in like a weekend.
Yeah.
And then we had to open up Saturday night. So we had about 150 people come on the land, $300 a ticket.
Yeah.
And then we raised $140,000 for our campus. And it was just crazy. Like I could hear the Trinity laughing, like, you can't outgive me.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. We were so shocked, especially that the number was just identical. It was like, okay, Lord, you're going to provide for us. It was wonderful.
And we had supporters, some of you are watching, fly from all over the country.
Yeah, it was crazy.
This couple from San Diego, Santa Barbara, they flew here to have dinner with us and to hear the vision of this land. Yeah. And when they came through the gates, they're like, it's like Willy Wonka opened up the chocolate factory. Like, $300 is nothing. Yeah. We would have paid so much more than that.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing that we got to do this year is we got to work on a new Cultivate series called Foundations. And that's going to be coming out in 2025. And we just, man, to have space and time to get into it. I'm going to say a lot more about this in the future, but this book is, I do believe, one of the best things our community has ever written. We have labored over it. And the goal and the dream of Foundations is to be a series that actually helps either young adults, teenagers, or even people that want to go back to the beginning of their walk with the Lord and shore up their foundations. And it is just beautiful. It goes through so many deep rhythms and tools, but it's smaller, it's shorter than our Cultivate books. It's more compact. It's more able to just throw in a backpack. So again, we'll be saying a lot more about that, but we have labored over that really the entire year, putting that into motion. And with that, this summer, just speaking on just teenagers and young people, because we had some space in the summer, we were able to do 2 camps and not just one. So we hosted over 100 teenagers from 13, 14 to 18 years old. And it was just extraordinary to have space. Oh, I feel emotional. To make, normally we can only do 1 camp. So to have enough space to have 2 and just so many young people come and to just teach them how to take care of their hearts in a cultural moment that's like just so tense and so hard was wonderful. It was one of the more incredible summers we've ever had. Getting to do 2 camps back to back is something we haven't been able to do since we ran camps like 15, 16 years ago. And it was just beautiful. Some of even my own family was there, my nieces and nephews. And yeah, it's just really, really special.
Yeah, that was the month of July we hosted the camps. And the month of June is when we had our sabbatical month. So we all came back fully rested, ready for 2 high school camps. And we got to see firsthand the impact of the camp. My daughter Haven did the first camp with my niece Shiloh. And after the camp, we sat at this table and just said, tell us the stories of what Jesus did. And I think we sat at this table the Sunday morning after camp for like 5 hours as they told us story after story of Jesus moving in their hearts and watching Jesus move in the hearts of their friends.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My life story was changed forever by encounters with Jesus at summer camp. I have friends now that are doing things as leaders in the ministry, and that one encounter with Jesus at summer camp changed everything. So to be able to set that table and watch high school campers have a collision with the love of God is extraordinary. And to have a place to be able to do it, to have bunks they can sleep in, to have a table that they can sit at, to have buildings that they can worship in. Thank you for sowing into this place.
Yeah, so special. And I mean, one of the highlights is that we put out a Christmas album, and that took the entire year.
And we've been working on it all year.
Oh my God, it took forever.
And it is hard to record Christmas music in July.
It's hard.
I would bring hot chocolate to the studio and mistletoe and candy canes.
It's true, but we did it. We released how many originals? 11?
10 originals and 1 cover.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful Sing Winter. We just labored over writing songs that just honor every spectrum of the Christmas season and the holidays. Feel very, very encouraged. Along with, again, all of our other worship videos that we were able to record and release. We're just very, very grateful for the year. It's just been tremendous. Yeah. And we have just felt the Lord walking with us the whole time. And as we look into 2025, we are full of vision. We were able to move our school from the really like the summer, autumn into the winter, spring. Yeah. And that's for a lot of different reasons, but launching into 2025, our second year school will begin in really just like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. And then our 18-inch journey phase 1 will be the month of April and May. Yeah. So this is going to be a big, big change for us as a ministry. We feel just full of vision. We've been doing the 18-inch journey for a really long time, and we love change. We love refining. We love changing things and changing it up and like, Lord, what are you doing right now? And so our whole staff just feels so full of energy and vision coming into this year to just launch into a discipleship season in a totally different season of the year at the farm feels so exciting. We've never really done a discipleship school during the winter, and it feels wonderful to have students here as spring comes and everything starts waking up, and just what that actually means in their hearts with just the resurrection that's going to happen. And so that's a big shift for us coming into this new year.
Yeah. And moving our school to winter spring opened up this fall for us to be able to record a live album here on the land. For the last 10 years, we've had students on the land, and there's no way we could record a live album when that's happening. So we have poured so much time and songwriting, and just it's some beautiful things are happening. Aslan is on the move.
It's true.
And I can't wait for you to hear these new songs. So that'll be coming out in 2025 because we were able to record it just a few weeks ago.
It's true.
And this fall's it's been so full. And we've also gotten to do 2 special trips. We've been to the UK with our band for the last decade. Every September we go and support an event called David's Tent. It's a 72-hour nonstop worship event in the UK. If you're in the UK next year, please come to David's Tent with us. And we joined with our friends at 24/7 Prayer this fall for their national gathering in San Francisco, which is so special. So this fall's been so full, and so beautiful. And we can't wait to see what the Lord does in 2025. From our schools,
it's true.
A lot of new music is coming in 2025. And I can't wait for you guys to see this beautiful book, Foundations.
It's going to be amazing.
So proud of it.
Yeah. And we're just so grateful. None of this could have happened without your support, your prayers, just people believing in us. We are overwhelmed with gratitude, and our whole staff is overwhelmed with gratitude. So if they all could be here, they would say thank you from the depths of their heart. To be believed in is everything.
Yeah. And as we're reflecting on 2024, our hearts are overflowing with gratitude at the way the Lord met us this year. And we have so much more vision to build so much more on this campus. This year, we launched a campus campaign to raise $360,000 for 3 new cabins. And we're at the halfway point of that goal so far. And as we come to the close of this year, we want to invite you into helping us with this dream. Supporting this campus growing, supporting our staff, and sowing into this beautiful mission called A Place for the Heart. So you can go to cagelessbirds.com to learn more about the campus campaign and to sow into this dream here in North Carolina.
Thank you so much for journeying with us.